What's up, mi gente? Welcome back to Banking on Cultura. I am your host, Victoria Jen Rodriguez. And y'all, today, I got two amazing guests on today's show because we're going to be celebrating Latino love today. So let's get into it. So our first guest is a singer, songwriter, actress, trained dancer, wife and mother who has fans from all around the world that fall in love with her over and over again because of her talent and her authenticity. You know we like authenticity on this show, okay? She's graced stages with Romeo Santos, Don Omar, as their lead female vocalist on tours. She's also collabed with legends like Sergio George, Tito Nieves, y Olga Tañón. Okay, now, and she's Boricua. I'll put that out there. And our gentleman who is joining us today is a Dominican from New York. He was also the youngest executive chef on New York fine dine scene at the age of 22, which is crazy. He's the runner-up on the Food Network's Chopped and the winner on the Food Network's Beat Bobby Flay show. Did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Want to make sure. Got to go to the expert here. He was awarded Top 30 Chefs Under 30 by Forbes magazine, where he also competed for Best Chef in America and won 4 years in a row. By the way, I've never tasted your cooking. Mm-hmm. We need to make that happen. His clients range from J-Lo, Alex Rodriguez, the New York Knicks, Kemba Walker, Kim Kardashian, Kanye, and the New York Yankees, and the list goes on and on and on. It is my absolute pleasure and honor to welcome ChaChi is in the building.
Hey.
As well as her husband, husband. How are you?
We're happy to be here. It's our first time that we do any interview together.
Yeah. I know. I feel like this is like breaking on Banking on Cultura. We have Chef Kelvin Fernandez, y la ChaChi. Like,
You're
this is a huge deal.
Of us doing podcasts
I know.
Together.
I am so excited and honored that you two allowed me to break this and get this exclusive because you have so many adoring fans, both of you, from all around the world. So I'm really honored and excited again to have you here. So we like to open the show with some bochinche. So I want to get some tea. So ChaChi, we can start with you, mi amor.
Okay. Well, I heard that there's a new song of mine coming out on Friday, February 16th. And I heard that ChaChi's going to be dropping music every 6 weeks for the whole year of 2024. Wow. So the album La ChaChi comes out September of 2024. So there's a lot happening. We took the little leave after COVID and after maternity leave, and now that we're back on track, I just can't wait to share all of this with you guys. Like I just want to like purge it all on y'all. But yeah, it's gonna be fiery. It's gonna be feisty. It's gonna be a lot of anthems. I know my men and my women will be singing my like heartfelt songs, and it's I did it for the culture.
And your music is so soulful. It is so soulful. It's like whenever I hear you sing, maybe we'll get her to sing today. It always like touched your soul and like speaks to your heart. So I love it.
It always brings a tear to my eye, even if it's like the 10th time of me hearing that song. But if I see it live, there's so many people, friends and family, that caught me on video when I'm at one performance, and I'm always like, so beautiful.
That's my boo.
That's my baby.
That's my wifey right there.
Bochinche, a little bit of bochinche about me. I can never stay away from television, right? So I have nonstop filmed 2 shows for some big networks. Can't mention names, can't mention what type of show yet until it officially comes out, whether it's a little preview, whether it's a commercial, whether it's a trailer, then I can officially tell you what. But be prepared to see a little bit more of me on TV, and hopefully within this year, a location or 2 where you can have my food. No more just me coming to your home and try to, we always.
I got the tea on that one. If you want the bochinche,
I do want
always.
It might be in Jersey. If you want the tea.
Well, Jersey has become our home now. I've born and raised in New York for the last 30 plus years, and we made Jersey our home. My wife is a born and bred Jersey girl, and I'm still the guy that puts in the address into the GPS every day to make sure I don't miss my my exits.
Yeah, because then you got another
20, 30, 40 minutes. I was like, hey, babe, I messed up again.
I'll be there in 45. What do you mean? You were 2 minutes away.
But those are some exciting things that are happening this year.
I love it. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
This is like huge. And, one of the reasons why I wanted to have the both of you on, and this is some bonchinche of my own, is, my dating life, I've mostly dated within the African American community. So a lot of my boos were Black men. And recently, like last year, around the time that I launched this podcast, one of the reasons why I launched Banking on Cultura was because I wanted to reconnect with my cultura. Like I felt like, because I wasn't going to Puerto Rico every summer like I was as a little girl, I felt like, I need to bring it closer. Like I need to feel my home closer.
Something was missing.
Yeah, like something was missing. And I knew I wasn't alone on that. And so around the time I was launching Banking on Cultura, I decided, you know what? I want to date within my community. Like I want to bring that Latino flair and spiciness like back home. And it's just a different way to connect and to relate. And I wanted to use the platform to celebrate Latino love. Because we hear a lot of bonchiche about the love not working, we got this chia on this side, on that side. And so I wanted to offer the opportunity to celebrate the both of you, because I think all of us are in awe in the community of this love and this matrimony that you have. Like it literally exudes. Like I remember seeing ChaChi perform and Kelvin's there with his flowers and he's in the front, he's filming. It is like the cutest thing, and the admiration you see on both sides and the way ChaChi supports you, Kelvin. So I would love to know, because each of you are superstars in your own right. Each of you have achieved massive success in your own right. Each of you have branded yourselves. You have created a name for yourself. Each of you is popping out here in these Latino streets. So how did this come together? And also, like, does that create conflict within the relationship because both of you guys are like so front and center?
I go first?
Yeah, no, definitely no conflict. I think it's more of we both support each other. We're both one of each other's biggest fans. Aside from the people that have been there for 30 plus years, they're like, I'm her biggest fan. I'm like, no, I'm her biggest fan, because that's me now.
Get it together.
And now our son is her biggest fan. And as we've grown together, nothing is easy in life. Everything takes work, but it's more of making sure that we both achieve our goals and push ourselves to succeed, because there's always times where we forget about ourselves. We forget about who the F we are, and sometimes the person that's going to remind us the most is our partner, and there's many times where I fall off track and she's the one that's going to bring me right back on the track and make sure that I'm going on that narrow road.
He's getting on the Peloton.
Yeah.
And eating right.
Which is one of the hardest things, and being able to support her and sacrifice, whether it's my mornings and making sure that I watch Little Man in the morning so she can go to the gym and be herself, which she looks incredible and feels incredible.
Always.
Has gotten back to where she wants to be. But it's more of a just mutual support in each other and wanting each other to win, because when she wins, I win. When I win, she wins. So I think that's what works best with us.
So when you first got together, was there anyone like that was sliding up in the DMs that y'all both needed to like simmer down and be like, listen, I'm calm down. Because listen, a man that could cook, and then ChaChi with those curves and her moves,
So me and ChaChi have known each other for, I would say, like 7 years, but officially we've been dating for 5, married for almost, we're going to be 2 years we've just had 2 years of married, but we became friends on Instagram, and it's one of my favorite stories to tell, because I feel it was just like yesterday, just, flirting with her and sending her little fire emojis when I see a little pic.
I didn't know fire emojis was flirting, though.
That's how people shoot their shot now.
It was light. It was like little light work. It was
just going over my head, and I'm just like truly thinking it was always so platonic. I mean, we literally did follow one another for like multiple years before actually meeting in person. I was a big fan of Kelvin. I knew how young he was and how he was making such big moves in his community. So as part of the Latino gang, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm rooting for this guy. I don't know him off a can of paint, but, like, I like to see our people win and grow and represent us in a beautiful light.
Y tan chulo también, don't front.
Right, he's so cute with those cute lips and stuff. But anyways,
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Ooh, this is really good. You should know about this. So I don't know about you, but I've been known to procrastinate, especially when things scare the hell out of me. The fear alone would have me stuck, overwhelmed, confused, and all types of self-doubt. And don't even get me started on the imposter syndrome. Okay. After getting laid off, not once, but 3 times, honey, I realized that the security blanket that I made up in my head was just an excuse because I didn't really want to bet on myself. The corporate benefits that had me in that headlock, girl, they went out the window once my job decided that they no longer needed me.
Turns out that I'll save a whole nickel if I cut your salary completely.
The truth is, the only security blanket guarantee is the one that you create for yourself. In other words, until you start a business, you will always be at the mercy of a company's headcount, and you will never have complete control over your time, which means you'll be renting out your thought leadership and helping build someone else's dream instead of your own. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Don't you think it's time you stop playing small and tap all the way into your power, sis? Click on the link above or below this video to learn my 3-step process, the exact 3 steps that I took to make the transition from corporate to entrepreneurship. And this is helpful even if you don't know what type of business to start and have only one source of income. And this is absolutely free. It is my gift to you. I want you to win. It's winning season. In fact, what's that? It smells like winning season. Okay, so tap in and I'll see you inside the training. Let's go.
No, but so we did have that relationship or that friendship where he was always like, supporting me and or like telling me, yo, you're doing great. Wow, that show looks incredible. My next time off, I'm going to try to make it. Or when he was an executive chef at different restaurants, he'd be like, oh, you have to come through. And I'm like, yes, the next time I'm in town, I'm just traveling. I'm on tour. I'm doing this. So we never kind of coincided. And then finally, it's like we had a serendipity moment where a friend of ours, influencer, invited me to her party. She hired him to come and cook at the party. And I wasn't going to, I told her I would let her know if I was going to make it because I was in Miami working on my project. United tells me there's a nor'eastern storm coming, and if I wanted to change my flight, they would honor me that and give me the flight like 2 days before so I could get out of Miami and make it home on time. So I was like, you know what? I kind of miss my family, grandma. Let me go home and just. So then I remembered, and I'm like, hey, Marcel, by the way, I'm gonna be here. I landed today, so I'm gonna be here tomorrow. If I could still go, it's up to you. And she was like, absolutely. Your name's not on the cup, but it doesn't matter. And I was like, I don't care about no cup. And so when I got there, when he got there, I remember I was talking to a friend of mine in the kitchen and to my friend's mother-in-law, and we were talking about life, relationships, all this other stuff. And I was telling the lady how I had been celibate for 2 years prior, like, that I was in my celibacy, like, and she was like, what? And I was like, yes, I've owned on my music and on my career, and I'm just so focused, and I feel so powerful, and energetically, it's just everything's aligning, and in walks Chef, and I was like, is it the wine? Or is it Chef? So I was like, I'm just gonna put this wine down right here. And then I slid into the DMs, I shot my shot. So this is to let women know, especially if you're an alpha female, like, it is okay to shoot your shot. It is okay to be, let down and say, no, I'm taken, or whatever the case is, but it's okay to do that. So many times, like, our timidness or our fear of being rejected kind of like gets in the way of like potential, or of, I saw the greater picture. You see it?
That was the words that she said too. She said, I think we'd be great together. Because I joked around and I was like, don't flirt with me because you're hungry. I was like, I got too much going on. And she says, no, I think we'd be great together. And I said, all right, let's go on a date. And here we are.
No, he was like, let's go on like 5 dates and then I'll cook for you. And I remember telling my friend, I'm like, he's very confident to think he's going to have 5 dates with me.
Yeah, because I don't want to cook on the first date. I don't do that. It was more like, I'll cook for you on the 5th date. That I was confident, of course, because I had like this big crush on her that she didn't know at the time.
I totally didn't.
But she knew that after that, then.
So did females like use you for your food?
No, I
I'm sure they did, girl.
I wouldn't say
they
use.
still trying it.
No, I wouldn't say use. It's more of a, like, the famous line is like, when you gonna cook for me? I'm like, when you come to the restaurant. Like,
right.
Like that's the way it works. Okay. Or when you gonna hire me, or when
right.
you gonna book me.
Yes,
yeah. But yeah, it was one of those things where we still laugh about it to this day, because one of our first gifts to each other was she made this little book with all like little photos, and the first photo was the DM. So,
but wait, how'd you shoot your shot? What'd you say?
No, I shot my shot live, not through DM.
I was doing an Instagram live, and that's when Instagram Live was brand new, and I was teaching people how to cook. So she was an avid follower who tuned in and literally was writing down recipes. sometimes I get into the moment and I don't have time.
Talks too fast.
I don't have.
I was like,
hear that all the time. And I try, but that's why I'm like, save the video, write down the notes, blah blah blah. So at one point she's like, "F this." She wrote "Marry Me," and
on the live,
yeah, for the world to see.
Very public.
Yeah.
Así a lo loco.
And I didn't see it because I'm too busy focusing and chimichurri and this and that. And someone sends me the screenshot. And I was like, oh, shit. Let me find out. So I sent the screenshot to her. And that was the line. It was like, don't flirt with me when you're
like, are you hungry? Or you were flirting? And I was like, I don't know, actually. I don't know.
And then we went on our first date. And it was I'll never forget it because it was a blizzard. It was snow. It was like 4 degrees.
They were like, don't go out your house.
Do not leave unless it's an emergency. I was like, well, this is an emergency because this woman is leaving for a tour next week. So it's either I see her now or I don't see her at all.
And then ironically, when we met, it was like early December. And then he was leaving with Jennifer until after the New Year. So
Espérate, like, Jennifer who?
Miss Lopez.
Miss Lopez.
Mother.
We're going to circle back to that.
She's so great. Oh, my God. Jealous. So, yeah, he was leaving with Jennifer, and I was leaving. I think I was with Dong at the time. And so I was like, well, and then he's like, it's really cold. I don't want you to, like, go out on the roads, too, if this is, like, because it's a hazard. Jersey. And so I was like, well, technically, I already have to pick up my goddaughter from school. So I'm already dressed, and I'm already in the car. So I don't know. I mean, I'll take the drive if you'll take the drive. So we did the happy medium and we met like in the city. And it went really, really cute. Yeah, and it went really cute. And you know, it's funny, like because I had been celibate for so long or energetically, I was carrying so much. Like, I was looking at him while we were like having our first date and I was like.
You was in heat?
I was like like, I just wanted to like, but I was like, no, you're not a hoe. Like, no, we don't do those things. You know, we're classy over here on this side of the street. And so I'm happy that we kind of like did what we did and went aside from the like, you know, letting little obstacles get in the way or kind of like being patient with one another. But I think that's a beauty in why this kind of like union works because it's like he understands my lifestyle and I understand his. I think for a regular person, for me to tell them, well, I'm not going to be here for New Year's and I'm not going to be here for Christmas Eve. Oh, I might not be here for Thanksgiving either. Like, it's difficult when you're in a relationship or when you're like, well, I'm doing 8 shows a week, so my only day off is Monday. So if you want me to cook dinner for you, I can only cook dinner on Mondays because I'm in the theater Tuesday through Saturday. So he understood the whole lifestyle and vice versa. Like, I remember one time he told me that he was being questioned at a house on some like, oh, you know, it's Thanksgiving, you know, your girlfriend, she doesn't mind that, you know, you're never there. And he's like, she's on tour with Romeo right now. I really don't think she minds. So it makes sense. Like, it just, you know, it meshes well together. Mm-hmm. And so I know that in the past, my relationships, didn't always work because of the lifestyle and or the scheduling and or the cultures. So when you said what you said about dating outside of the culture, I totally understood it because I also dated outside of the culture, African American, and there was that like I love to dance, and they dance, but you know, like my salsa, my merengue, I'm a professional salsa dancer, so I mean, my husband,
you can't teach that those hips and
that little swag. You can't teach that.
I mean, you could try.
Right.
I mean, I could teach you, but I have to charge. No. But I wanted that. I wanted the culture. I missed the culture and or the being able to share music or artists and you know, like just be like, yo, I love that song, and what does it mean? What does it say? Like, so not having to explain it all. And when I found Kelvin, I don't know, it just felt right, and it just kind of made sense. And a lot of things that were issues in the past with others weren't here, and so it felt like familiar, like you know, like I've been here before.
And I think timing,
right?
I think you both
divine
were like
timing.
at this space where, I mean, you're willing to travel in a blizzard. Obviously, there was something there for the both of you.
I don't know if to thank United, if to thank Marcel, if to thank, I don't know who to thank. God, the universe, like, you know, Instagram. I never looked at social platforms like Match.com and stuff like that. So, and if now I start to think of all the fire emojis and all the emojis and everything, oh my God. the things I have in my DMs.
Oh, I could imagine.
Forget
No,
it.
guys and girls, because the girls are very ballsy. I'd be like, oh, girl, oh. Made me clutch my pearls like, I'm going to blush.
So the both of you are creatives in your own right, entrepreneurs in your own right. So what are some of the challenges that come with that? Because now you have this beautiful son that is in the mix. So how are you managing it all?
I think it's knowing how to separate when it comes from business and then family. Like, it's always going to be family, but there's times where I know he's bombarded with work and he has his emails to send, his deadlines, his menus to curate and things like that. And I know that, you know, I need to like relieve him a little bit so that he can get it done. So I'll make sure I have Eden. Even if I don't clean the house and I don't do the things that I wanted to do, I'll take the load of, let me just handle him because Eden requires attention, you know? And so that he could do what he does. And then vice versa. Like there's times where, you know, if perfect example, yesterday I had to do fashion week and he held it down with the baby all day. Like he was like, no, go do what you have to do. After that, I went to a shoot. He was like, he's fine. Everything's good. Keeping me like, you know, updated with what's been happening. And so he relieves me. So it's like a mutual thing. And then because we're entrepreneurs individually, but then we do productions and business together, I think that's where we have to separate, you know, husband and wife and business partners. You know, because when it comes to business, I am like very, I don't know what what would you call me? I like things to get done and I don't like to procrastinate and I don't like people who waste my time. And I like paying for things so that they get done the first time around because you do mediocre, you pay double the price. So I don't like the room for error. I don't like the room for like I like things to get done in a certain manner. Like there's time for play, but then there's time for business. And
when she's in work mode, I'm like, you better be asking her questions about work. Like, especially if we're doing an event together and...
Because I'll bark. Like, not bark, but you know what I mean? Like, if you ask me something that's going to take me out of the realm in which I need to be in, which is the producer, the executive producer, the one that's paying for stuff, like, and you're asking me something that makes no sense with anything that has to do anything for the next 48 hours, it's like, what did you just ask me? Like, where are you going? So I don't know if it's the fire sign in me or if it's that I'm too Latina for some people, but, you know, I'm very passionate and I love what I do and I take it very seriously and I respect it. And I respect my craft and I respect my fans and I respect their money and I respect how they love us.
And there's no such thing as a perfectionist, but we try very hard.
Yes.
To be
and we
perfect
listen, and I
we
listen
do.
to people when they're like, oh, but you know, this and this. And I'm like, all right, babe, you know what? They said this, so maybe we should blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, you got, it might be too expensive. You know what, baby? Let's get 2 tickets out. Let's do a raffle. Let's figure it out, whatever. So we listen to the community as well. So
And I think that's what's always extra hard for us when we're putting together these productions, because once I get to work with this beautiful lady, it becomes a production, and I know that, and I'm grateful that I have someone like her that it's not just about me anymore, and I don't mind. I enjoy sharing the limelight because we always joke around when we go out to eat. I'm like, how many people are going to say hi to you today? Or who's going to win? Or we'll be at the airport going and
1,
I'm like,
2.
yeah, and it's fun because we enjoy it, and I'm used to getting that a lot. But now it's just like, all right, good, it's her turn. Let her enjoy a day of bombardment, but it's fun. But I think it comes back to the point where we do care a lot of how much someone spends on an event with us, but people also need to understand that it takes a lot to put on these productions because we're getting these spaces raw. We have to rent tables and chairs and silverware and plates and
lighting and sound and,
and
stage and musicians and rehearsals and
and
costumes and
food and alcohol and
aerialists and burlesque dancers and
so we and of course, you know, again, like I said, going back to that word, perfectionist, we want to put on the most amazing show. And I know that I can turn around and everything's going to be perfect on her end, and she can turn around and focus on what she needs to do, and everything's going to be great on my end, you know? So that's what makes it the most fun. But we're going on our 4th year in a row doing the Valentine's Day event, which is special to us. It's the first time that we're doing just one day.
I thought he was going to tell her something else. Oh my God.
What?
Valentine's Day is the first time.
Oh, yeah, Valentine's Day is the first time we also had...
Oh, yeah, got it in on Valentine's Day?
That's
I get cute.
So it's a special day, but it's
Get
not,
cute.
but it's also,
I swear I was like,
it's also
You thought that's what you were gonna see,
Well,
but now
since
it's
we said
out
it,
there.
it was 30
Now
minutes
it's out
ago.
there. You heard it here on
We said
Baking on
it-
Cultura.
we said it
Exclusive.
again.
Exclusive.
But Valentine's Day, a couple years later, was also the same day that she told me that we were gonna have baby Eden. So it was a nice surprise.
Aw, you guys are too cute.
And then only did she not know that I joked around at dinner when she told me that she was pregnant. I'm like, great, I have 8 months to propose to you.
I said, don't you dare propose to me because I'm pregnant because I will tell you no.
But only did she know I already had the proposal listed for that week. So Tuesday was Valentine's Day, and that Friday I was already set and scheduled to
So I
propose to her.
surprised him and he
Wow.
surprised me.
Look at the
So
way the
I joke
universe
around
works.
and I'm like, great, I got to show you receipts. But she didn't understand what that meant.
No,
Until
I
the day of, I proposed to her, which was very hard to get her out the house because she was already not feeling well. So I had to lie, and I told her we were going to an engagement party. She just didn't know it was hers. And I got her
He
to...
lied very well.
I got
so
her.
a lot of people don't know that I dedicated my craft, my vocal craft, to doing wedding band, like gigs with wedding bands. I had this one band that I was part of for like 7.5 years, the Rhythm Shop. And so I know how special a first dance is. I know how special a wedding is. I know how special the bachelorette and the bridal showers and all that stuff is. And so how he got me to do it was during COVID, they had to cancel and or postpone their event because of COVID. So when they rescheduled for February 2021, he randomly asks me if I could sing At Last for his boy, because he's like that was their favorite song and that he wanted to surprise the bride-to-be. So at this point, it's no longer about me. It becomes about her. And I was like,
I was
okay.
able to get a hair and makeup team in
Yeah,
for her.
so we did hair and makeup. I was so nauseous. I was like, oh my God. Like literally on the way there, I was like, ugh. I must have yawned like 9,000 times. He's like 5, 6, 7.
And I'm
So
like, we just get there.
he's
you'll
like, you
the
sing
song,
and we leave. And I said, okay. I actually said, you promise? And he was like, yes. I said, okay.
I'm like, if you want to leave, we'll leave. Absolutely.
Right. So we get there and I remember seeing my comadre and his compadre like walking up to us, but he had mentioned that the girl was from Newark. So I figured, oh, my comadre knows her and that's how she's here. We got there a little late because I decided to take a nap while I had hair and makeup. I wanted to take a nap and I took another nap.
We had dinner reservations.
Canceled
at
reservations.
a fancy place. And
It wasn't me, it was the pregnancy, guys.
You must have been like going crazy.
Oh my God.
Because you had to keep
I
it on the
changed
low.
all his plans on him.
I had to cancel the reservation. I told the chef, I'm like, sorry, we're not going in. It's like, everything okay? I'm like, she's not feeling well. Here I am having some tacos and drinking some champagne
by himself in the living room.
And I was texting my compadre. I'm like,
sleeping.
she's sleeping. She wants to cancel the day. I was like, I'm not letting her, but we're going to make this happen. So thankfully, when we got there.
And I see my comadre coming towards me and she's like, with the microphone, we got there late because of the snow. So we weren't able, that's another thing. Every time we plan something drastic happens. A heat wave, the coldest day, a blizzard, is always something.
Pandemic.
Yo. So my best friend is walking towards me with the microphone and I'm like we were late. So I'm like, hey girl, it didn't even click. I'm trying to go for the microphone so that they could fucking start at last.
On this show, no worries.
Okay. So that they could start at last. And my comadre, like, she goes to give me the microphone. She goes, and I'm like, stop playing. Like, in my head, I'm like, what are you doing? And then she gives Kelvin the microphone. And I was just like, what is happening here? And then I look and everybody's like turned around. And then when they turn around to me, they have the signs. And I was like, oh my God. And start crying like a pendeja.
Oh,
But it was beautiful. He did such a great job. He's such a like detailed person. Like he pays attention. He like, if I say I like something today, like in a year from now, he'll remember that I said that. And so that's that. Guys, you need to listen. You need to do better.
I just think, and I don't want to say that
Do better.
I don't want to say it disrespectfully, but I think it's very important to show the woman that you're asking, for their hand in marriage, make it special. I thought so many different ways. I had that ring for so long and I contemplated and I changed and I had ideas and then I'm going to say this, like, who proposes and then leaves for 3 months? I do, like that's the job that entails, because it was a point where I don't want to leave her for 3 months after feeling something so special. But then I was like, then it's not going to happen at all. And then I'm going to feel like, what if we get into a fight and I'm going to be upset? I'm like, I'm not giving you this ring. Now we're going to wait another 6 months. Little jokes like that come through and you think of it. But I've seen so many proposals and I just wanted to make it special. I was going to propose on our 4th year anniversary in Costa Rica. It was just me
I
and her.
thought he was going to propose. I felt it in my core. Like, I was like, this is really weird. This is such a beautiful place. Why is he hiring?
It was
I was
a
like, why is he
mansion for
hiring a
just us?
photographer?
Because she always says that, and this was my thought, she always says we don't take any photos together when we're dressed up. So I was like, this would be my league way. I'm like, hey, I hired a photographer, so now take as many pictures as you want, you know. Flowers came, beautiful roses. We had massages in the morning. We had a chef for the week. And then I canceled it because I saw something on Instagram. While I had Costa Rica in the ring with me, I canceled it. Because I saw something on Instagram where someone proposed in front of their family. And I was like, wow. We are both so family oriented that I think sharing that moment with the ones that we love is a lot better than just me and her. We'll have plenty of times where we can have moments for just us. But I thought it was so special. And then I had like a week to plan it because I felt bad because I had her best friends in this group chat where I'm just like, I canceled it. I'm not going to do it. Oh my God. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm going to do it on a different day, but I want everybody there. This is why. And I sent them that video. They're like, oh my God, this is perfect. I was like, all right, we're gonna pull it off. And thanks to the help of all of her lovely ladies in her life, we were able to create a memorable night.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Ooh, this is really good. You should know about this. So I don't know about you, but I've been known to procrastinate, especially when things scare the hell out of me. The fear alone would have me stuck, overwhelmed, confused, and all types of self-doubt. And don't even get me started on the imposter syndrome. Okay. After getting laid off, not once, but 3 times, honey, I realized that the security blanket that I made up in my head was just an excuse because I didn't really want to bet on myself. The corporate benefits that had me in that headlock, girl, they went out the window once my job decided that they no longer needed me.
Turns out that I'll save a whole nickel if I cut your salary completely.
The truth is, the only security blanket guarantee is the one that you create for yourself. In other words, until you start a business, you will always be at the mercy of a company's headcount, and you will never have complete control over your time, which means you'll be renting out your thought leadership and helping build someone else's dream instead of your own. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Don't you think it's time you stop playing small and tap all the way into your power, sis? Click on the link above or below this video to learn my 3-step process, the exact 3 steps that I took to make the transition from corporate to entrepreneurship. And this is helpful even if you don't know what type of business to start and have only one source of income. And this is absolutely free. It is my gift to you. I want you to win. It's winning season. In fact, what's that? It smells like winning season. Okay, so tap in and I'll see you inside the training. Let's go. Well, I think, you have the skill set of paying attention to detail. Like as a chef, presentation is everything, and also having like the right ingredients to make this meal. It's like the same thing. You had the right ingredients to make like this meal, quote unquote, this engagement, this proposal. And I think both of you are so professional in your own right. Like it shines through, both personally and professionally. And earlier when I was introducing you, Mamita, I forgot to say this. And I was like, oh, wait, hold on. So you mentioned how dance is so significant to you because you actually have training in dance and have been all over the U.S. and Europe, right? Featuring your skills on such projects as Hector Lavoe's biopic, El Cantante, which is like lit, hello. And you also create and produce your own shows, such as your acclaimed burlesque performance, Fibre. I'm sure you get a lot of DMs after posting those videos because, honey, you make me feel like I need to go in the gym. I need to buy tassels. I need to like do all the things.
Bring the whip out.
For real. You be looking super fly.
Thank you, mommy.
So you guys are sharing such beautiful aspects of your relationship. But we all know that there are hard parts about relationships as well. So can you talk a little bit about some of the ugly parts when it comes to marriage, parenthood, doing life together? Because in those moments, I feel like others can learn the best. And I'm sure and assuming here, but that's also where you both learn individually and both as a team, as a couple. So is there like an example that you're willing to share with us that would be beneficial?
I would say that marriage is so loaded, right? Because in relationships like before marriage, like just, getting to know one another, dating, something that's not as serious as an engagement, and then, or the engagement, period, there's different phases to a relationship. marriage is loaded because you make a pact and a commitment, and you kind of like, you give each other your word, and it's like, when I decided to write my vows, like it's a forever thing. Like, you're gonna be stuck with me forever. Like forever. Like, because I don't want to, I've seen so many marriages like, fall apart. And I would be the first person to say that we're all human and nobody's perfect. And so if you're looking for perfection and you don't understand that a relationship takes compromise and listening to people, but also listening to the unspoken language, to what's not being said, that's important. So love languages make the world of a difference, right? But in a union of marriage is like, I can't tell you, you know what? Fuck it, we're going to break up. Or I need a break, bye. Or slam the door and not call you for 2 weeks. Or like, you can't do that. Like, you have to fix the situation. You have to like work through the problems. You have to have the uncomfortable conversations. You have to do the work that requires you to break the fuck down before you could build it back up. It's not as pretty or as happily ever after as Disney painted it out to be. But the beauty of it not being so pretty is what makes it that much more grand, because we're humans and we make mistakes. And I feel like he's a reflection of me and I'm a reflection of him. So if I screw up and he can't forgive me, or he can't see where I was coming from, or he can't, then it's like, if he won't forgive himself, or you know what I mean? Like, so when I look at his errors or times where maybe I've dropped the ball or maybe he's dropped the ball, I don't want to be so like cutthroat with him, because I'm looking at my reflection and I want somebody to have compassion with me. And I want somebody to, like, I don't know, teach me better or help me grow if I fuck up or make a mistake or drop the ball or fumble. It's my job to make you a better person. Like, I wouldn't want to make you a better person for the next chick, but it's my job to bring out the absolute best in you, not only for me, but for you, for our child, for our union, our foundation. So it's not as easy. I mean, it's all cute and glam when everybody's taking engagement pictures on the gram, when everybody's going on honeymoons and doing the weddings and doing this, that, and the other. But they're not going to show you when it's dark in the house. They're not going to show you when la casita is freaking crumbling or shaking up because the foundation might just break. There's times where people are like, you guys are goals. And I'm like, like, that saying that they say, heavy is the head that holds the crown. Like, and it's minute on my end. And I can only imagine the other people that we feel like, oh my God, they must be happily ever after. And it's like, well, we don't know what's going on over there either, right? Mm-hmm. So I said that this year and moving forward, I wanted to be more transparent. I've always been very transparent with my audience, but I want to be a little bit more like just open and kind of like let them in just a little more, because I want to show them that, what we see on social platforms a lot of the time is what we want you to perceive of us.
Right.
It's the good, the glam, the glory, not the tears, the dark, and the other side. So it's loaded, but it's totally doable. And then people don't speak about how a child, it's not ugly, but changes the dynamic of a relationship, whether it's married or not. Like, a child is going to change the foundation no matter what, because it no longer is about you and I. It's no longer of us being spontaneous and, we want to go to Egypt tomorrow. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. We could still do it because the baby has a passport. And he's already been to Paris, and he's only 2. Baby. He's already been to Paris, and he's only 2. But that's to show you, like, like it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's more beautiful than the sleepless nights. It's more beautiful than the when they have fever and throwing up and they don't feel well and you haven't slept in a couple of days because they're not doing well. You just really have to. You can't have children with everyone. That's one. I think I'm happy that I started late in life. I waited. I traveled. I toured. I did everything I wanted to do, and then I got pregnant at 35. And if I could do it again, I probably would get pregnant at 33, just so I could have another one before 40.
That's the number one question. Where's the next? When's the next?
I know. It's like everyone always applies this pressure. Like, first it's like, where's your boyfriend? Like, do you have a boyfriend yet? And then you get a boyfriend. It's like, don't even get me started. Oh, well, when are you guys getting married? And then you get married. Oh, pero where's the kids? Like, what's happening next? It's like all this pressure. So, Kelvin, did you ever have to like battle through some machismo? Because you are Dominican. No shade.
No. I think, I think life is surrounded by that, when even for multiple different examples, as me getting into the culinary industry, it was a taboo because, growing up in a Dominican household, cooking was for girls. That's the mentality that I had, and it wasn't until I started working in restaurants and seeing that behind the scenes, it was predominantly male oriented. And I'm like, where was this growing up? Even though my dad's a chef, my mom was an incredible cook. She's in hospitality, and it's like hospitality was in the blood. But my dad didn't want me to pursue this career when I was young. He's like, go focus on, having girlfriends, go do good in school, go play sports. And I'm like, I'm doing all that, but I also have an interest in this now. It wasn't until I was like, I think 21, 22, where he was like, all right, this is what you want to do. Let's push as best as possible.
When you became known as the youngest chef in America.
And it wasn't until 21, 22 that I did the musical Celia Cruz that my mom understood, she's supposed to be on stage. Yeah. It wasn't until she saw that whole audience captivated that then she believed, like, they always like pushed me to do. But after a certain age, she was like, I don't think the dancing is it anymore. Like, I think you should go back to school. Mm-hmm. So I decided to go back to school for music and education. And on the first day of college, full time, Maria Torres calls me to see if I could come in and help her style and choreograph Celia Cruz the musical. And I was like, what? God, why'd you do? But I did both. I literally did both things. And so that's to show you, like, sometimes you got to see it to believe it, even if it's your parent.
With our parents, I always joke around. I think, especially being Latino, and growing up in that household environment, I say it's always harder to convince your parents that you're going away somewhere without them. Like, I remember being 17 and winning a scholarship, and I'm like, hey, I gotta go to France. Mm-hmm. You can't come. I'm like, it's just the class and the what do you call those teachers that are supposed to watch you? Chaperones, yeah, and the chaperones. And I was always joking around. I was like, try telling your parents that you're going somewhere for 2 weeks across the world without them. That was the harder challenge than me, actually doing it.
I brought my mom to the first salsa congress I ever went to in Los Angeles. And I remember it was like a Memorial weekend, and it was from Thursday to Sunday, nothing but dance from 9 a.m. to fucking 2 a.m. in the morning. And when she saw that, that's when she was like, all right, where are you guys going? We're going to Czech Republic. Where are you guys going? Australia. Where are you guys going? Amazing. Oh my God, Cuba. Like, so she had to go to the first one to understand, like, there is no time for anything else here. It's nothing but dance. You're consumed in the world. And she was like, all right. She saw that there was other people my age. She saw that it was like, wholesome and kind of like a community
felt more
thing.
safe.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. But same, like, all over the world without my mom. Like, bye, Mom. Where you at? London. Bye, Mom.
Bye.
So
yeah, I remember my first international trip was Italy when I was in college. And my dad still to this day has just got his passport.
Well, my mom, I just gave her their application 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So I took him to Mexico for his 80th birthday.
Amazing,
I was like, let's start getting you out of the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Kelvin, my question was targeted when I said machismo because I wanted to know if that came up, like if that comes up in the relationship. Right? Like, because Latino men, there's this stigma that they carry this, machismo, etc. So do you find that coming up in the relationship? Did it ever come up?
No, I think the most important thing about our relationship is that there's balance, and there wasn't like a way, I think I've always been, especially growing up with my parents, I was always taught to be the provider, taught to be the, the nurturer, but there's times where I need that in to make me feel complete, and that's where she comes in as a partner. I think being grateful for her as a partner to make me a better person, a better human being, a better dad. Like she said it best, you can't choose just anyone to have a child with, and this is my second go at being a dad. I have a beautiful 14-year-old that lives in LA, but I didn't get the chance to raise him. I was there financially for him. I was there, thankfully, with work and being out there every 3 months or so and being able to see him grow. So having the opportunity to be a father and really do this full time again, I'm so grateful because I'm in love with being a father, being a husband, being a parent, being in a family.
There's a beautiful soft side that Eden brings out of him. He's always been like super mellow. To be a Leo, it's like, and he's a fire sign, so it's kind of like, I gotta figure out what your moon and stuff is.
I've always been calm, just in the kitchen.
Because we're both Leos, but I feel like he is a little calmer than I, and we're just a couple days apart.
I'm a lot calmer than she is.
He's never been the type to like tell me like, oh, you can't wear that, or you look too sexy, or what do you? He's never.
I embrace it because I know
if
she's a beautiful woman and I see her that she's beautiful, I know. I don't even care, but I know that there's thousands of guys slipping in her DM and telling her how beautiful she is. I just got to make sure that I'm the first one and I'm the last one to tell her every single day, so she knows that, you know, I still love her and I still think that she's beautiful. Yeah.
I'm happy.
And I'm right, you know, and I'm not the super jealous type, but there's times where, you know, she walks out and I'm like, shit, I'm not gonna be with you tonight. I'm a little jealous. That's the only time I get a little jealous.
Come back. You went to the gym like that? Like, no, I took a shower and I just changed. I just put gym clothes on again, but no.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so before we get into the Talk That Talk segment, I have to know what it's like working with J-Lo. I have to know.
I think it brings out the inspiring person in me. You know, I think when you work with someone that's elite, just being in their presence, there's a special aura about it, and you feel like you haven't done anything in life. You haven't done, even with the accolades that I have, I'm like, I want more. I want to do more. I just want to make more people proud. I want to feel like I'm representing the culture the way I'm supposed to. And I know I'm doing a lot of those things, but it just inspires you to be a different animal and in the best way possible. I'm going to be the very best person that I can be and continue to inspire people in so many ways. Because I always think about, for me in life, I want to learn something new every single day. And if I don't learn something, whether it's a new word, I joke around every day. The word of the day. Yeah, I get an email every day about a new word of the day. And I always share it to her when it's something that I've never heard of. I'm like, today's word of the day is. But I always think it's very important to never stop learning, especially in your craft. Which is why I love cooking so much, because if you get tired of one cuisine, there's a million more that I can jump in and try and learn new things. So it's just one of the best feelings in the world. And I have so many amazing memories. And the best to this day, and I've told her many times, is Thanksgiving cooking side by side with her. And it's like having no sous chef, but Jennifer Lopez is my sous chef today.
Amazing.
One of the coolest moments
She's
of
so
my
inspiring. I think can't nobody outwork her.
Girl,
and she makes
her work
me
ethic
she
is
literally
on
makes
another
me want to work harder. She literally makes me want to dib and dab. She's been like an idol in the sense of like a career to emulate. I remember one time they were like, you know, they interviewed me and they were like, if you could take anyone's job, and not in a cutthroat kind of way, but if you could just replace yourself with anyone in the world, who would it be and why? J-Lo. I didn't even let them finish. And the person was like, oh. And I said, because not only was she an entrepreneur from the beginning, because from her very early starts, she started with the acting, but before the acting, she was dancing, which was like me. And then she did the singing. I'm like, oh, okay, that's like me too. And then she does the entrepreneurial stuff with her makeup and her perfume line and then her clothing line. And so I'm like, this woman, this is me like, high school, growing up, 20s. I'm like, this woman does absolutely whatever she wants, whenever she wants. Can't nobody put her in a box. And I'm like, and she's Puerto Rican from the Bronx. Like, so it was like, like finally seeing myself there. Finally seeing like, you know, somebody that looked like us up there, you know? And so I had the honor of working with her during El Cantante. That's something that I'll forever hold in my heart. I was a principal dancer in that film. And my dance partner at the time for that film was, rest in peace, the legendary Hinton Battle. Hinton Battle was one of the first people to take Jennifer international to Japan after high school with her dancing stuff, right before In Living Color. So every time that Leon Ichazo, the director of El Cantante, may he rest in peace, would say cut or hold or whatever, Jennifer would come to us. It was really to Hinton, because that was her like mentor, dance teacher, you know, friend. But because I was his partner, then she was coming to us. So we shared a lot of little moments, especially the house party where Leon chose me and another girl to like greet her every time she came in. That was cut in the editing room, but like we literally kissed and hugged like 12 times, and they filmed it from all different angles. And then I was her shadow. So technically the camera was over me. And if I went like this, then she was doing it. So I was basically just giving her what to do so that, you know, choreography wise, what we practiced in the rehearsals, she didn't make the rehearsals. So just to give her like, though I didn't have to give her a shit because it's January, she know what she's doing. But it was so cool. And I remember the house party. She was like, she looked at the floor. She's another Leo. She looked at the floor and she was like, I'm sorry, but what house party you go to and the floor is like clean? So she came and she threw some chips on the floor. She was like, and I was like, right? And so it was a cute little moment. Later on, I've had the pleasure of like spending the holidays with Kelvin, so being invited over there and also having access to her like a private listening party, which was so inspiring. And just, I really wanted her to come out with another album, and the fact that she took so long to do it and then she did it and I got to hear it before everybody else, I was like, yes!
Yeah.
So the little girl, fangirl in me is like so pro her.
Same.
And so I kind of feel like whenever he's like, well, I got to go with Jennifer for the holidays and I'm like, it's okay. She's the only one I'll share you with.
I mean,
I'll be like, that's
be anybody.
Esa es la madrina. I'm like, that's madrina.
Right,
it's okay.
right.
I love
we'll
her.
have
It's
it be
okay.
J-Lo.
She's cool.
But I love that. What a fun relationship, right? Like you get to spend the holidays with J-Lo because your man is the executive chef over there. Like, what?
You want more bochinche?
Only if it's juicy.
I had a moment where I almost cried for real, like right before I left to Miami, because he knows I swore that background vocals, I was like, I have to stop confusing the universe. And I am, I'm a star and I am working on my project and it has to come out. And the universe tested me to see if that's what I really wanted. And that if I was being a woman of my word and I was going to stick to what I said I wanted.
Right, okay.
And so a day before leaving to Miami, I get the call to see if, through not even through Jennifer's camp, through SNL's camp, they needed a background vocalist for Jennifer for Saturday Night Live. And with the heaviest heart, I had to say no. Because I had to choose me, my project, everything that I have going on this year, all the people that I respect that have given me their time, that have scheduled me in, that have, so that's where professionalism also comes in, when you really start to respect everyone's time on the team, not just yours. Like, when we think of what Kelvin and Kelvin's Kitchen is, yes, Kelvin is the face and he is the head honcho of it all and he's the mastermind. But there's a lot of other people that, make him so very powerful. Same with me. And the more he gets into his restaurant thing and the more I get into my album, we understand that other people are going to come into the, into the picture. But it was a moment that I wanted to so bad be here.
Yeah, I know.
Like the little girl in me.
Yeah.
The little girl in me was like, no.
I could only imagine.
You could do both. Everything is possible.
Yeah.
But then the adult me was like, Cha, you've had your time with her. You're like within the 2 degree of separation. Like, calm down, let go, let God, and the universe will take care of it.
Not only that, but you're not a background singer no more, baby.
I know.
In the front. You in the front.
That's right.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So, like, no, sorry. I'm in the front.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's get into the Talk That Talk segment.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Ooh, this is really good. You should know about this. So I don't know about you, but I've been known to procrastinate, especially when things scare the hell out of me. The fear alone would have me stuck, overwhelmed, confused, and all types of self-doubt. And don't even get me started on the imposter syndrome. Okay. After getting laid off, not once, but 3 times, honey, I realized that the security blanket that I made up in my head was just an excuse because I didn't really want to bet on myself. The corporate benefits that had me in that headlock, girl, they went out the window once my job decided that they no longer needed me.
Turns out that I'll save a whole nickel if I cut your salary completely.
The truth is, the only security blanket guarantee is the one that you create for yourself. In other words, until you start a business, you will always be at the mercy of a company's headcount, and you will never have complete control over your time, which means you'll be renting out your thought leadership and helping build someone else's dream instead of your own. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Don't you think it's time you stop playing small and tap all the way into your power, sis? Click on the link above or below this video to learn my 3-step process, the exact 3 steps that I took to make the transition from corporate to entrepreneurship. And this is helpful even if you don't know what type of business to start and have only one source of income. And this is absolutely free. It is my gift to you. I want you to win. It's winning season. In fact, what's that? It smells like winning season. Okay, so tap in and I'll see you inside the training. Let's go. And this is something where I love to address something taboo in the community. And I know, ChaChi, you've been vocal about your postpartum experience and mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to hear from Kelvin, you know, what that experience was like for you. Because when women go through these experiences, I find that we tend to focus on catering to the woman. And it's like, okay, mama, are you all right? Like, can I do anything for you? How can I help you get through this? And we tend to like push the dudes to the side. Like, you're not important. You didn't carry this baby. You didn't give birth to this baby. Like, you're not experiencing the same emotions that I'm experiencing. So, ChaChi, maybe we start with you explaining what was the experience. And then I would love to hear from you, Kelvin, how you managed that as her partner.
I don't think I ever like didn't want anything to do with him, or didn't like some women get pregnant and they don't like their partner. They just want them gone. I was very much in love throughout my whole pregnancy, very much in like my bliss of it all. It was after the baby, the intrusive thoughts, the inner turmoil, the fear of something new. I have an incredible support system, and I have a tribe that is elite. And Kelvin, like literally, he is the epitome of what I would say like a father figure, because from the moment Eden was born, he has not dropped the ball when it comes to Eden. Like, he has been so on point, like without even no one having to tell him anything or having to guide him. Like, it's something that came natural to him too. I did have a C-section, so I was a little uncomfortable. I was not feeling myself. I gained so much weight after because of complications, and I was retaining so much water, and I was swollen for over 3 weeks. And then think of having a C-section and then having to take care of somebody and feed and breastfeeding and, milk not producing. And then, so there was just so many things that were happening where it's like, I know there was a silver lining in there somewhere, which is my son, right? That was the most beautiful thing that came out of the whole thing. But it's a dark and scary place. The best way I could describe it for a while was just like, it's so weird. It's so weird. It's so weird. Because I didn't want to tap into all the ugly and like layers of it. But I'm happy I didn't get it as bad as other people. I'm happy that after 2 years, I finally feel like myself. I've spoken to people who have said that after 4 years, they felt like themselves. So I feel like at least it only took me 2 years to kind of snap back and get into it, not necessarily snap back in my figure, but mentally snap back into like reminding myself like who I am, that yes, I am a woman before anything. But I am also me before I am a mother, before I am an artist, before I am anything else to anyone else. I am a being, And so, I don't think I ever made you feel that way, and if I did, I apologize. But because
I think the hardest thing for us was going through the motions of training and practicing for a natural birth and expecting, doing everything that we could do right on our ends, and then that curveball thrown at us where it made the labor process very difficult. Of course, you're already on 36 hours, no sleep, and seeing her in pain and in agony. And it's just like, I just wanted the pain to stop. I'm like, do whatever you feel that is right for your body, for yourself, for your mind to get through this. When Eden was here, I think it was, of course, the adjustment of you're never ready, right? You're never ready until it happens. And that's why there's always so many people that are like, oh, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for that. Well, you'll never be. You just have to put yourself in that situation and let everything work out, because it's that instinct that there's no wrong way of doing it. And I always said this to her when we were with the baby. I think the best thing that ever happened was our house not being ready, and, purchasing a home and doing the construction. And we stayed at her grandmother's house for about 4 months. And that was, to me, I was like, shit, am I going to do this?
When Eden was born?
When Eden was born, because we were staying over there because we knew that we needed a foundation. We needed support system. But also, we didn't know she was going to have a C-section. We were planning on just moving in and just me and her and letting the second floor get constructed while we stayed on the first floor and vice versa. But I said the best thing that happened was that house not being ready, because everything we needed was at her grandmother's house. And I say that because they already had a system set up where before the baby, everyone came to visit grandma because she has a tribe of amazing women that are all her daughters, and they come religiously Monday through Friday just to spend time with her. So imagine if we were there with the baby, it was just, okay, we can sleep for an hour.
Right.
Okay, you can sleep for an hour now.
Take
Okay,
a shower.
go take a shower. Go do whatever you need. But between me and my wife, we were in a great place. And even if she was going through emotions, she never put it on me. But there were times where I would see or I would notice, and there was nothing that I could do. No meal would make you happier, because, that's me. I want to fill your soul. I want to make sure that you're happy. I want to, even if it's give you time alone or sleep a little bit extra. And I'm still learning as well. I'm a new dad as well. Like I said, I'm a father of 2, but I didn't get to raise my first child the way I missed all those big opportunities, the first steps, and so on and so forth. So for this, I made sure that, I said no to every gig outside of New York. If I'm not coming back home to my family, this is more important, especially in the beginning.
So ChaChi, what were the emotions that you were experiencing? Like, what was it?
Okay, so I'm going to try to describe this. It felt like I was so happy that I had this baby in my hands and that he was healthy and that I was okay, right? Because when you give birth, that's like a borderline death situation, real talk, on all levels. You could hemorrhage, you could bleed out, you can, especially a C-section, especially a C-section. But placenta or anything ruptures, like there's so many complications. So I was always grateful that we were both okay. But in the beauty of having the baby and the beauty of having the support system and the beauty of growing and being born as a mom, the beauty of seeing him be a father, I felt like my relationship with my boyfriend, with my fiance, with my soon-to-be husband, though it was growing here, it was deteriorating there. But it was fine and nothing was wrong. But then everything was wrong. And then it was like, I could literally be happy, I swear to God, and be cracking up. And then all of a sudden go from the cracking up to like just intrusive thoughts of like falling down the stairs with the baby, accidentally hurting the baby, accidentally sleeping on top of the baby and suffocating the baby, just intrusive and dark. And I'm so spiritual and connected with God and light that it was just like, I didn't know where this was coming from and I couldn't control it. It had control over me. So though there wasn't things that were affecting like Eden and us at grandma's house and all this other stuff, at the same time, I felt like there was something happening to the relationship. There was drastic things happening in my heart, in my mind, in my head to my relationship with Kelvin. But everyone's like, oh my God, you guys have such a great da-da-da. And then that would put more pressure on me because I'm like, but why am I feeling like this? Nobody knows what I'm fucking living and nobody knows what's in my head and nobody knows, like, I know my heart, but like there's so many thoughts that it's like you kind of like get lost and confused and cluttered and, like when you just have to separate and kind of be quiet just to like tap back in. Yeah. And so that's why I say that a child does do something to a relationship. I mean, sometimes some relationships are fucked up before the children come into the picture. Facts. But it's like, there was times and parts where I wasn't sure if Kelvin and I were gonna work. I wasn't sure if it was gonna continue or if we were gonna move forward with the next step. And at the same time, I was having the best year of my life. So
yes, and we don't talk about this in the community, right? No. Postpartum or even like the mental health, right? So Kelvin, as a partner, seeing your boo thing, going through this, there's literally like nothing you can do, right? It's something, I mean, you could nurture, you could be supportive, but like you said, a meal won't make this better. It's something internal. What did that do to your mental health? Like, did that fuck with you where you were like, yo, I can't be the provider right now. I can't nurture my boo?
It was, more of I wanted to see her happy. That's always, the question that we always try to answer. You hear the stereotypical, I'm like, even if it's not with me, I want you to be happy. But no, we got to a point where I just had to listen. I had to be able to be a better listener and not only learn from, my mistakes. It's more about show that you're learning and act on those things. It's not just using your mouth and saying it. It's actually physically, making those changes or of being a better, husband, better person, better provider. It even if I was doing everything I was supposed to be, it would come down to, just feeling like, and it wasn't from her, it was just because you go through these motions, like, is everything that I'm doing enough? Or am I doing not enough? Or am I not focusing on the most important thing, which is my family? Am I focusing on other things that don't have to compete or even should have no space in my life anymore? It comes down to a lot of those distractions, and at the end of the day, the most important thing is building on what matters to me most, and that is my foundation, and that is my home, and that is my wife, and that is my son, and making sure that I am the best example for my son, because he sees us every day. And that's why we never, even if we have our little arguments, we make sure that we never disrespect each other. We never raise our voices in front of him. And, and you can have the worst possible day, but when you see that little smile look up at you and just say, Dad, like, it changes your entire mood, Up is his favorite thing. And when he's learning new words, it's like we have to reward him by doing those procedures. So up, you're constantly picking him up every 2 seconds, but it's at such a better place now, knowing that we have those tough conversations, which is sometimes very uncomfortable, because I feel like sometimes I shut down when I guess I've never been so much of the talker. I've never been I've always let things go, and hopefully we can sweep them under the rug and things are going to be better tomorrow. But I've learned with someone like my wife, who loves to talk and loves to put things on the table and isn't going to let things sweep under the rug. Sometimes that's better. And I learned that because I'm not confrontational. That's the way I said it. And it doesn't mean like confrontational in an anger and argument. It's just you saying I did something wrong. I'm going to shut down and I'm like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? How do I respond to this? And because that's how I've always been.
You're going to get a bow.
Yeah. I'm going to get yelled at, or, just like even in the work ethic, I felt like if I ever disappointed someone, my response would be to shut down. Yeah. And think about it like, damn, I did fuck up that egg.
How do you fix it? How do I
something as little as like being in the business of you cooked that wrong. I'm like, oh my God, I know better. Why did I do that? Or something as I disappointed my wife by making a wrong decision and doing something that I know I shouldn't have done. I was like, why? Why did I do that? How does that make her feel? Because in reality, if she's not doing well, I'm not doing well. Yeah. Even if I'm the reason. Yeah. Even if I'm the reason that caused it. Yeah. So there could be times where I can do something wrong and I know it, I sense it, I feel it. I'm not going to have a great day. Even if I'm the reason that caused that situation, I'm still going to hurt the entire day because I hurt my partner. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for being so candid and transparent, because we need more examples like this in the community, talking about mental health, talking about growth as individuals and as partners. And it's so symbolic having you both here. And I was very intentional and specific about having ChaChi and Kelvin Fernandez come on the show to exemplify Latino love, artistry, entrepreneurship, soulfulness, and just so much beauty in how the both of you represent our cultura. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Before we wrap it up, I have to tell you something.
What? Tell me.
No, we were discussing yesterday, and he's like, because he knows I'm very picky with who I give interviews to, what podcasts I do, what photographers. I'm just picky. And so he was like, why this podcast? Why Victoria? And I was like, well, she doesn't know this, but during the pandemic, you post a picture of you and I think you maybe posted a couple of other pictures, like a little carousel thing. And it was like smack in the center of the pandemic. And it was a dark moment because no one knows what's happening. Everybody was like up in the air with the shutdown and this, that, and the other. And, I had already looked at my life like, Lord knows we're probably like all going to die, or I don't know. And I had looked at everything I had done, and I was just okay with it. And I thanked God. And I was like, thank you. If I never get to do this again, at least I did it. And then I got into like this dark, depressed kind of mode. And your post came like at the right time because it did exactly what it was supposed to do for me to have the shift. And it's like you were like the gentle reminder, like from the universe, like, please don't forget who the fuck you are.
Yeah, that you that bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to thank you publicly because I don't think I ever thanked you for that moment. But I told Kelvin, I'm like, I think I'm going to cry. And he's like, no, don't cry. I was like, yeah, I think I am.
She cried.
I cried last night. But I'm
It was like 2 o'clock in
because,
the morning.
well, because, you know, sometimes we don't understand how powerful just like something as awesome as saying, you're doing great. Could be like you don't know what people are going through. And so when someone says or someone does like those little things, it makes a world of a difference, you know. So take that as just be the light. If you can't find the light, be the light for someone else, or even for a total stranger, because you have no idea how much life you're like feeding into people by just being nice, bro.
I love that. Thank you so much
I
for
love
sharing
you.
that. Because I love you too, boo boo.
I really
and I love
do.
you too.
I love you too. Thank you for having us.
I got to see her in her element. We met in Puerto Rico. You was on stage
Right.
killing it. She looked fine. Okay. Her dance moves, everything. And I remember running up to you after you got off stage and you were so lovely and like so welcoming. And I was like, that's it. ChaChi's my boo.
I love you.
But yes, thank you so much for sharing that. And you are also a light. So even when you feel like your light is dimmed, you are also a light. Even when you don't think that you're not operating at your best or feeling your best.
Thank you,
So thank you
sis.
for what you do for the community. Kelvin, you as well. Tell the people one last time where they can find you, what they should look forward to, where to go.
You can find all my music on all music platforms as Grizel del Valle. And my favorite platform, Instagram, at ChaChi Nation.
Yes, I think I have to have you come back because I need to know where this ChaChi name came from. I got so many more questions.
always
Girl,
more
let's
questions.
Ay, Dios mío. Kelvin, where can people find you?
You can find me on all social platforms as well. Chef Kelvin, ChefKelvin. You can look at me very soon on your TV, most likely your favorite food channel. And hopefully, like I said, at the end of this year or the middle of this year, couple locations where you can actually come and have my food and see me live.
I'll be there. I'm going to be one of your first customers.
love
Let's
it.
You
go.
already know, we're in Jersey. Hey.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much
Thank
again.
you.
Thank you.
Besitos. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Ay, mira que cute, besito.
Ay, Dios.
I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you're going to love the next one. So make sure to click right here and tap into the next episode.